By the way, we didn't mention this earlier, Scott, but we did have a fan vote poll in Irina before all these matches today, and the fans have been spot on. The fans picked Catherine Parento 80% to 20% to beat Leigh Jansen, and the fans had that right. 67% thought Ben Johns would beat Tyson McGuffin. They got that right. 65% to 35%. The fans are favoring Simone and Lucy over Team Waters, but I will say that that's the tightest margin in the fan vote. The 35% by the team that's not expected to win. That's the highest percentage of votes that anybody got in the fan vote. So we'll see whether or not they can be the team that bucks the trend.
I actually thought that would be just slightly higher, maybe even 60-40. You have to give the edge, right, Irina, to the reigning long-standing champions here, Lucy Kovalova and Simone Jardim. But the Waters are no slackers. They're going to bring it.
I think on paper, and maybe the way the line runs and the way Vegas and betting works, you would give a slight edge to, yes, Simone and Lucy. But in your heart, you'd probably at least go in 50-50.
And we are underway here in Atlanta.
Side out.
And the side out to start this match.
We'll see if both teams end up stacking. Usually Simone likes to play the left side and Anna Leigh likes to play the left side. One of her strengths for Anna Leigh Waters is her two-handed backhand, and she can create a lot of spin and a lot of angle.
Leigh Waters, now Anna Leigh Waters. They're keeping Simone and Lucy back on that baseline. Now they get up to the kitchen. And Leigh Waters hits it long, so the first point of this match belongs to the #1 ranked team.
In the middle of that point, Leigh Waters dropped that ball and brought Kovalova and Jardim up, and they ended up paying the price for that.
Kovalova and Jardim got here by beating Jansen and Stratman yesterday, 11-8, 11-9. Team Waters outlasted Ansberry and Esquivel, 11-3, 12-10.
One statistic that wasn't put out there, but I believe is accurate, is that the women on the pro side, they look phenomenal with their attire, outdoing the guys by a far margin.
I mean, I would argue with that. Tyson McGuffin is really well dressed and, you know, clean shaven, ready to go.
That's true. He's in the minority of that group, though.
I'll be happy to offer fashion advice to guys a little bit, but I think they do a fantastic job as well.
For sure.
0-1-2.
Looking good is the first part of feeling good, which is the second part of playing good, I've been told.
You've played the Waters several times, Irina. What does the pressure feel like from them when they're both firing at all cylinders and attacking?
Well, I think there's a little bit of comfort in knowing that the attack is coming, but both of them have really good hands, so you know that the exchanges, you have to be ready for 3 or 4 shots at least in the exchanges, and that puts additional pressure on you. But also more adrenaline.
Second serve.
Lucy unable to handle that. And so we'll go to 1-1-2.
1-1-2.
Of course, Anna Leigh Waters on the left side of the far court, just 14 years old. Her mom, Leigh Waters, 42 years old. Jim, how bright is the future for Anna Leigh Waters at 14 years old?
Well, as you guys know, Anna Leigh is a multi-sport athlete. She played a little bit of tennis. She absolutely loves soccer, and she plays pickleball. So I think time will tell. She is comfortable right now playing both sports and being successful. So hopefully she can keep it up, and she can make choices whenever she has to.
Simone getting Anna Leigh to have to go to her left. And then Leigh hits it into the net, so we'll go to 1-2-2. You know, yesterday, Irina, we talked about where this game might be heading internationally. I'm curious domestically. You've spent enough time here now in the United States to be familiar with kind of the prep programs at the high school level. Do you see this becoming a sport that high schools might adopt, and somebody like Leigh Waters be able to play for her high school team?
I think so, and I think if it's done in the community and high school level like this through PE, it can also be very affordable. And because the learning curve is fairly easy, a lot of people will enjoy. I mean, there's potential for injuries, but for example, compared to some of the other contact sports, pickleball seems fairly safe. So that would be fun sport for other multi-sport athletes to pick up in high school.
Yeah, and if it can grow at the high school level, perhaps we someday see it at a collegiate level, and makes sense that it would just continue to grow in every facet.
Behind the wall, please.
Absolutely. I think beach volleyball is an example. The growth of beach volleyball in college tennis is a good example to study potentially for pickleball, because it's similar to tennis, so they can kind of see how that framework works and maybe introduce it into the programs.
Backhand, two-handed shot there by Leigh Waters. That was impressive.
Yeah, Dave, she was sitting on that ball. Simone tried to catch her off guard, and she was not surprised by that.
Shot by Leigh Waters did just stay in, or by Leigh, excuse me. Leigh able to save that, but Leigh into the net. So a 5-1 lead here for Kovalova and Jardim.
Simone is doing a fantastic job using all parts of the court. A lot of times we think of pickleball as a two-dimensional game and we move our opponents left to right, but Simone is also utilizing front and back of the court, following a deep shot with a drop shot, making Leigh move.
Leigh Waters missing that forehand wide. To the credit of Kovalova, she made her hit one extra ball there. It paid off big time.
6-1-2.
Well, I think the 5-game format, if maybe the Waters are experiencing a little bit of nerves and maybe they don't have as much experience as Simone and Lucy in big championship matches, the 5-set format should help them settle into the match, and we'll see how they adjust.
The combination of mother-daughter probably would not work with the majority of moms and daughters out there, but this duo is special.
But the question does need to be asked. I mean, and certainly they are a fantastic duo. I mean, they're playing for gold here today, and I'm not saying that there's not a lot of shelf life left in this combination, but at some point, Leigh Waters will no doubt get a new doubles partner. How much longer do you think that they will play together, Irina? A couple more years? I mean, is it tough to gauge that?
Well, I'm not a magician and I can't predict future, but I do know that I think Leigh is pretty realistic, and I think that is part of why she's enjoying her experience right now so much, because she is like, how cool is it to play with my daughter, be successful, do it for a number of years. So I think it makes it extra special.
I'm guessing when Leigh is ready for a new partner, there's not going to be any shortage of people that want to sign on for that.
I think she will be able to have her pick of the litter.
And I think Leigh would be the first one to admit when she's not up to par anymore and maybe needs to pass the torch to someone else, but she's still got a lot of fire in her belly, and she is one of the most fierce competitors. They're out of Delray Beach, Florida, where I live, and they train extremely hard to get to these gold medal matches like this.
And I'm guessing Leigh cherishes this every bit as much as Leigh does, having a chance to grow up on the pickleball court alongside her mom.
Absolutely.
And for everyone that follows the Waters, you know that Leigh Waters' husband is on site at every tournament. He doesn't miss a single one.
Side out, thank you.
So the side out now will get the Waters a chance to try and tighten this thing up, trailing 4-6-1.
Second server.
And Leigh frustrated with herself on that unforced error.
Well,
4-6-2.
Ben referenced earlier in the interview with Hannah Johns that the ball, this Durafast 40, is a little softer in this Atlanta, Georgia heat. And I'm wondering if she's going to need to make a couple
5-6-2.
adjustments on that third shot drop.
I mean, I think she just needed to step into the ball a little bit more, just like so, and then she'll have a better contact point, easier to execute.
Nice dig there by Leigh. And then Annalie, how about that shot cross court? Mama approves. And so does the crowd.
That was a thing of beauty as we take a look at this replay.
Here we go, 6-6-2.
Simone let it go, thinking it would be out, and she guessed wrong.
Side out.
You know, Dave, you take a chance in that moment. It's a split-second decision. A lot of times it pays off to let it go. That time it did not.
6-6-1.
Simone, the unforced error. So we'll go to 6-6-2.
Hang on.
Simone is definitely mixing up her dinks to try to create an opportunity from Annalie, but
6-6-2.
Annalie's moving well, keeping the ball low, forces Simone to go for a little bit of an ambitious shot.
Point.
And now Kovalova and Jardim go ahead, and Team Waters is going to use a timeout. Their first of the match. This hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. And we are back here in Atlanta as we have had a whole lot of fun. This is our third match of 5 championship matches here on Championship Court. Dave Ben, Scott Golden, Irina Terashenko, kind enough to join us for a second straight day. And it just has been a fantastic tournament this entire week here in Atlanta. Over 1,200 players started the week here in Atlanta. I mean, it's just a bigger and better tournament each and every year here in Peachtree Corners.
Awesome experience. Couldn't have asked for better weather, no rain delays. The crowd is enjoying it. We're enjoying the match. Let's go.
There is no rain in the forecast here today as well. And our producer director, Ray Koliakova, having some fun with us, getting us to stand up and sit down, Simon Says. And we are ready to go.
Just a slight advantage for Kovalova and Jardim, 7-6 here in game 1. I have to imagine both teams are settling into the idea of a best-of-5 series. This game 1 is a feeling out process. They're both getting acclimated to this big stage.
13 minutes into this gold medal match.
Point.
And another point here for Kovalova and Jardim.
8-6-2.
I think so far Lucy and Simone have been dinking really well. We haven't seen that many attacks. There's Leigh.
Oh, well timed there by Lucy.
Lucy's sitting on it. That's one of her best shots, as we learned yesterday. But yes, I think, yeah, Simone and Lucy dinking really well, kind of keeping the Waters at bay right now. Let's see if they try to turn up the tempo and throw in some sick tricks.
They get up to the kitchen again. 9-6.
One of the early criticisms of the Waters was that they did not dink well or did not like to dink, and they're proving that to not be the truth.
A mishit there by Simone, set it up right into the wheelhouse for Annalie.
Oh, absolutely. You guys will see, as you continue to follow pickleball, you will see all the pro athletes kind of evolving and elevating their game, learning from the matches, adding new shots to the arsenal.
Leigh told Annalie to lay off, and it ends up costing them. So we'll go to 6-9-2. And And the serve going back over to Kovalova and Jardim, looking to close out this first game here, up 9-6.
9-6-1.
Simone and Lucy are also serving and returning pretty big. Look at the depth of the serve in the Simone. So it makes it a little bit difficult for Team Waters to attack and become aggressive.
And now we're on game point.
In the blink of an eye right there, it's gone now to 10-6, and the Waters having a slight discussion here in midcourt, trying to decide what their game plan is going to be here.
They do have a timeout remaining, but looks like they're going to opt not to use it.
10-6-1. Second server.
Simone hits it out, so we'll go to 10-6-2.
Simone there flicking her paddle after the
Red
fact.
server.
She did not get on top of that one enough.
That's long. So the Waters still breathing here in this first game.
Lucy is upset. She counterattacked a little bit too soon. She pulled out an amazing defensive reset. Arguably, she could have used one more shot to get in a better position in the kitchen and look for an opportunity there. Let's see if they can get a quick side out.
Second server.
Simone creating some movement, creating some action,
6-10-2.
and good change up by the Waters. Let's see if it helps.
And the serve will go back over to Kovalova and Jardim.
Nice flick by Lucy, utilizing her height. This shot is pretty difficult to execute. Well done.
The lob. Simone and Lucy able to get to the kitchen, but Lucy unable to get it over the net.
10-6-2.
That final point so elusive. We have another game point.
So far, Simone came out on fire in this match. I don't think she's made a single unforced error. Oh, spoke too
Except for
soon.
right there.
Commentator's curse.
That might be one of those forced, unforced errors. I mean, she's going for a winner there.
6-10-1.
Oh, Annalie able to dig that out, but then Lucy hits it right at the feet of Leigh.
6-10-2.
Another great three-dimensional play by Simone.
Excuse me, yeah, Simone with the hit there.
If you notice, the Waters stay back off that non-volley zone just about a foot or two as they use that as a setup point.
Off the net, not a bounds. And so Kovalova and Jardim will again have a chance at a game point.
10-6-1.
And there it is,
Point
game
game.
one goes to
11-6.
Kovalova and Jardim.
You have at least 2 minutes.
Best of 5. So Team Waters in an early hole here.
Great drop by Simone.
Point game.
And just the unforced error there by Leigh Waters. So 11-6, we'll have game number 2 coming your way after this quick break here on Championship Court. Back here in Atlanta, Kovalova and Jardim 11-6 in game 1 as Simone and Lucy trying to take home this gold medal. But with this best 3 out of 5, certainly it's favorable to win game 1, but it's not necessarily devastating to lose game 1. The ATP by Simone.
Right here, please. Okay. All right. Did you see it clearly? The ball was out. All right, side out.
Lucy thought that caught the line. but they overrule her.
Tom Whitson, the referee for this match, brought the ladies in, asked
0-0-1.
Anna-Leigh Waters if she saw it clear, and she said yes.
Take another look.
Clips the net on its way,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, looks like
Second server.
bounces just a bit out.
And while we're in the replay, a stop there by Kovalova and Jardim, so it'll bring us up to the second server, 0-0-2.
Points.
And that is just out. So Waters draw the first point of this game too.
1-0-2.
Great two-handed backhand by Anna-Leigh. It looked like Simone pulled her out of position, but Anna-Leigh stays patient, doesn't panic and speed up, and just keeps it nice and low in the kitchen.
Leigh Waters wins the power game on that exchange with Simone.
Point. 2-0-2.
Simone tracks that down on the baseline. Able to get back up to the kitchen. And then the sideline winner by Anna-Leigh.
Point.
And that's not a testament to the quality of
3-0-2.
Anna-Leigh's backhand. With the same look on the preparation, she can place the ball in any spot of the court. Another interesting thing is all these four ladies have a two-handed backhand, but they don't use extra long grip. They use regular size grip, and just find out a good place for their left hand. They have individual styles of how they hold it.
And how about this though? The mother and daughter Waters team jumps out to a 4-0 lead in game 2. This hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. Well, Lucy Kovalova and Simone Jardim, they took game 1 11-6, but now Waters and Waters 4-0 lead here in game 2, looking to try and tie this thing up. Match started just before 1 o'clock local time, going on 25 minutes, and no doubt this is the hottest match of the day, not necessarily just in terms of the action, in terms of temperature. And Irina, you were sitting here broadcast side with us yesterday about this time. It is much hotter and much more sticky today than it was yesterday.
Yes, Sky Golden is melting. But interesting fact, all these players have been in the 5-setter before. Also here in Atlanta 2 years ago, Lucy and I played the Waters best, went to five games, maybe like 15-13 in the 5th. And I think Simone and Corinne.
Simone with the Ernie. They continue to keep the Waters back on that baseline. And finally are able to break the serve. So side out as Kovalova and Jardim will try to get on the board here in game 2. But we'll go to 0-5-2.
Second server.
Good placement by Leigh, went right at Simone's body and caught her a little bit off guard.
2.
Off the net, Leigh able to catch up with it.
What a shot by Leigh Waters to keep that ball in play.
Sure was. And nice job by Lucy to track it down as well. Simone going back and forth now. And then hits it into the net.
Well, she thought she was going to be able to attack that ball off the net cord, and she waited a little too long to attack, and it dumped it into the net.
So 5-0-1. A commanding early lead in this second game for the Waters. Now it'll go to 5-0-2.
It's a great spot by Jardim there, putting it right
5-0-2.
smack in the middle of that court deep.
What is it keeping the heat on?
What a reset there.
And the unforced error by Simone. Make it 6-0.
My goodness, the amount of times that the Waters had to win that point
6-0-2.
was unbelievable. Ultimately, they got the best of Jardim and Kovalova.
Side out.
Well, Lucy and Simone will get the serve back here.
0-6-1.
But they're going to go to the second server just like that.
Yeah, the Waters are doing a great job keeping the heat on. Looks like they're picking on Simone just a little bit more right now, and Leigh has been successful a few times attacking her head-to-head.
Point.
Finally, Kovalova and Jardim are on the scoreboard. 1-6-2.
1-6-2.
Good coverage there by Leigh Waters.
Look at the reaction out of Anna Leigh.
Anna Leigh fired up here in game 2 as they take the lead 6-1.
Getting the serve back, looking to add to the lead. Looking to try to win this game and turn this match into a best of 3. Leigh unable to do anything with that shot.
Nice reach by Simone.
6-1-2.
It's the one thing about Simone and Lucy, you know that they're not going to get phased even being down in this game. They know there's plenty of time to come back. As they're getting the serve back right now.
Good off-pace attack by Simone. Jams Anna Leigh. Nice inside-out angle.
Lucy puts it away to make it 2-6.
That's amazing to watch Kovalova sit on that two-handed backhand and just unload when that ball comes over the net.
Yes, very high percentage shot for her. Very effective. Well done.
Lucy looking to recover there.
Trying to go for the ATP.
Second server.
There was some communication. Jardim trying to let Kovalova know she was there, but by the time Kovalova had committed already, it was too late.
And then credit the Waters, they exploited her being out of position.
Nice reset there.
Nice dig there by Lucy. It's the longest point thus far in this match.
This point's shaping up to be nice.
And then put away by Leigh Waters.
Anna Leigh looking at her mom and said, "Let's go."
And you gotta love this crowd here.
1 minute. The score is
It's a great
6,
turnout. They're
2,
boisterous and they're
1.
liking what they're seeing. Team Waters playing in the crowd with the 6-2 lead. A hydration break being called by Kovalova and Jardim. Let's get a word from our friends at Jigsaw Health. What a game we've seen. What a match we've seen. Dave Benz, Scott Golden, Irina Tereshchenko, Hannah Johns also hanging out with us, doing a fantastic job with all the post-match interviews here this afternoon. It's been a lot of fun bringing you this coverage here on Championship Court.
we've got a great crowd on hand, and they've got Jay Gizmo Hall passing out cold waters to the crowd.
It's a good idea, because it is awfully warm. Harry Sikma also part of our coverage here today. Happy to have Harry on board.
Harry spends a lot of his time up in New York and also down in Florida as well. Great guy. Got a little time to spend with him here this morning before we went live, and he's just all smiles.
All right, looking forward to more tenacity from Lucy Kovalova. As you guys saw from that Jigsaw commercial, she has plenty of it.
No question. I like how she hits the Irina Tereshchenko name thing out of the first shot in that commercial.
I know. No respect.
Oh, great job on the lob. Just flips it up to Simone and then puts it back into the kitchen. Great patience again being shown by both these sides. Simone and Leigh just going back and forth in the dink game. And then Leigh looked like she wanted to be able to flick that out of the air and change things up, and it ends up being an unforced error.
6-2-2.
If you notice early in that point, Simone hit an awesome lob over Anna Leigh, and Leigh Waters was super patient defending that shot. She ran it all the way down, hit a defensive third shot, got herself back in the point, and Anna Leigh helped cover the court for her. Textbook lob defense.
Point.
Simone expressing her frustration there, as it is now 7-2, 7-2-2 in favor of Team Waters.
Dave, the dynamic of this game two has completely changed around from game one, as the Waters have controlled almost every point here.
Lucy, though, going to the power game there and getting the serve back.
Not today, she said in that point.
And don't expect Jardim and Kovalova to go away easily, because they're going to fight for every point here.
Oh, off the net, friendly bounce. Simone, it still stays in, so it's 3-7. And this is the part of this game where you figure if Kovalova and Jardim have any designs on winning this in 3 straight games, this is the part they're going to need to be able to string something together. So make it 4-7-1.
I'm surprised the Waters aren't contemplating a timeout right here.
4-7-1.
They might wait one more point or two.
Second server.
Great patience by Leigh, working Simone's backhand and waiting for that right pole that's a little bit higher, and she can go for a more powerful shot down the middle.
Simone unable to catch up to that on the baseline. And Simone and Kovalova give us the serve here. 7-4-1 in favor of the Waterses. Simone puts that one away.
After a 2-point run for Jardim and Kovalova, we've got a second opportunity serve for the Waters to increase this lead.
Yeah, but Lucy and Simone have been closing the gap here ever since that timeout. But now it goes to 8-4.
That was interesting from Leigh Waters right there. She didn't try to overpower that forehand. She just kind of popped it at Simone Jardim.
Lucy does just keep that in. Simone with the soft touch there to get the serve back.
Well done. 14-year-old Anna Leigh Waters was tracking that ball, as you can see on this replay.
Point.
Unforced to make it 5-8.
The last few points from Jardim and Kovalova
5-8-1.
have been from unforced errors from the Waters.
Everybody's human. You're
That's
gonna
right.
make some.
Gotta always have that next shot mentality.
That ball is not going to quite make it. And there's the timeout we thought might come a little earlier in
The score is
game.
6-8-1.
So it is close to 6-8-1 in game 2. A hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. Kovalova Jardim. They have closed the gap. I do believe it was 6-1 when they took their timeout. And so they've gone on a little 5-2 run here since that timeout. And suddenly the momentum's starting to switch back towards the #1 ranked team.
And this is where I believe the best 3 out of 5 format is going to come into play, because if Jardim and Kovalova are able to overcome this deficit and go on to win game 2, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Waters to climb out of that hole. Even though it's possible, I think this is imperative that the Waters pull out game 2 so they can stay in this.
Couldn't agree more.
Can hear a little bit of wind getting picked up here on the mics. There is a little bit of a breeze blowing. Simone lets it go, and it ends up touching in.
Second server. 6-8-2.
Oh, Lucy looking to put it away, instead puts it into the net. So Team Waters getting the
8-6-1.
the serve back. 8-6-1 is the score. 8-6-1. There we go.
Simone and Leigh battling it out again, this time cross court.
Off the net. And then Leigh hits it long.
Second server.
So we'll go to 8-6-2. By the way, I do want to give a shout out to Ray Koliakovo and our championship court crew.
8-6-2.
Irina, I'm curious. I love the bug in the score box with the 2 pickleballs, so you can see if it's first serve or second serve. I think it's a fantastic addition to the graphics package.
Couldn't agree more, and it's been helping me keep score in the game as well.
Makes it much easier to follow along at home.
Yes,
6-8-1.
I haven't been in the commentating booth for a while, but I was super impressed yesterday and today from all the improvements that you guys have made, the graphics that you had, the transitions, the commercials. The operation is super professional. Thank you guys for your hard work.
Thank you for the
7-8-1.
feedback. The truck wanting to know, well, you already answered this yesterday, but so we asked you which your favorite commercial that you're in is with Jigsaw Health. What's your favorite commercial overall is Kovalova with the winner to tie it up at 8.
Ooh, I do like the Ben Johns commercial
8-8-1.
when it's following a movie, Good Will Hunting. And I think you guys played it a couple of times already, but he writes this incredible formula on the board and Patrick just ignores it and erases it. Ben is an intern at the office.
I like the one where he says he can't go into the kitchen. It's like getting hit by a ball when he walks in.
He says, that's why I stay out of the kitchen.
Yep, that's really well done. So 8-8-2. And the serve going back over to Waters and Waters.
So the difference between Kovalova's lob and Simone's, Kovalova took the ball off a bounce and rolled it
8-8-1.
up and over from the non-volley zone. Simone chose to lob from the baseline. It didn't work out as well there.
They get the Waters back on the baseline, but they're able to get back up to the kitchen.
Both these teams do that so well. They play incredible defense.
Kovalova and Jardim having the Waters playing defense right now.
Leigh and Leigh sometimes get separated on the court, but both of them cover so much ground.
Simone trying to set up for an Ernie. Opportunity does not come. Oh, how about the spin put on that ball by Kovalova? That would have made Tiger Woods proud on a spin on that. That was impressive.
Kovalova absolutely showing the finesse that she has on that Onyx paddle. Not even the 14-year-old Emily Waters can get it.
Stopped on a dime. So another timeout being taken. Another hydration break by Jigsaw Health. Fans seeking some shade here in Atlanta, but they are being served water and they are being hydrated. And it has been a whole lot of fun. You see Simone Jardim getting a little water as well.
Lucy Kovalova coming up huge in the last point. Simone recognizing that and just taking a little break on the court while Lucy ran the play. So far, probably the best point of the match.
Kovalova and Jardim, though, they battled back, having trailed 6-1 in this game.
They found themselves trailing, like you said, most of this second game, but now they found a way to tie it up as its second serve.
And this brings up a little interesting discussion about scoring and experimenting with different scoring formats. For example, if we had a rally scoring, the argument is, would teams be able to come back the way Kovalova and Jardim are coming back in this game? What do you guys think?
8-8-1.
I personally like the format that we use currently, and I don't know that it's the best for TV. Because it is a longer game, but I do like the ability for these teams to come back and make runs.
Really never leaves you out, which as a spectator makes it really interesting and intriguing.
And as we just saw, Waters just gave up the lead here now at 9-8-2.
I mean, it's not uncommon for a sport to change the format, the scoring format and the rules format for TV a little bit.
And for the longevity and the success of the sport, you have to be able to adapt.
Side out.
Side out here. I know that's, you know, we've had conversations about that as you take another look at the point. You know, Major League Baseball has kind of changed things now, coming back with COVID, how they do the extra innings, and they're experimenting with things at lower levels. You always have to be able to adapt. I know there's going to be purists in every sport who say you can't do it that way, but whatever the fans want is what you need to give them.
Well, absolutely, and I think it's important to incorporate the fan perspective in discussion as well as the tournament director and player and sponsor and production perspectives. As long as it's a dialogue, I think that's when you're going to come out with a product that is probably the best.
Key side out there as Kovalova and Jardim keep the Waters off of the board and now 2 points away from getting a 2-0 lead in this match.
Yeah, Waters have had all the momentum for most of this game. It's changed now. They've been stalled on 8 for quite a while.
They do break the serve there, though, and now we'll go to the second server. 9-8-2. We'll go back over to the Waters.
Great spot. A little fist bump between the two of the Waters. Having a conversation. What's the game plan? Irina, do they need to do anything different here down the stretch, or do they need to stay with the same game plan that's been working?
I think their strategy is pretty good, and right now you just saw an example of them executing it effectively at a key point. So well done there. I think the few mistakes that they made, they were actually on the right track, just didn't go their way. So I'd say stick with it.
They know how important this game is. Simone couldn't catch up to it.
Point.
So we are tied at 9.
9-9-1.
That's a big net cord to get to roll over there for the Waters.
Another net cord. That one Simone able to catch up to. And then the unforced error by Waters, so we'll go to 9-9-2.
Great defense by Simone. And viewers, if you guys have been following pickleball for a while, usually the matches, the way they go, Simone doesn't see too many balls. But I think now you see a change in the strategy from the opponents when they play Simone and Lucy team.
We're seeing the Waters drive their thirds and drop their fifths right now.
Look at the reaction out of Leigh.
It seems to be working.
10-9, game point, chance to tie the match at a game apiece.
When the Waters are at their best, they're moving forward and attacking their opponents over and over relentlessly, which is what we just saw.
Oh, and the mishit. That was a huge side out for Kovalova and Jardim. And the Waters know how big that opportunity was that they just squandered.
Good recovery there from Henry Waters.
Oh!
That's why you don't give up on a point right there. That ball looked to be a winner from Kovalova.
9-10-2.
9-10-2. Oh, and it's going to go back over to the Waters.
And that's a quick hold. They needed that for their momentum purpose. They've got to close out this game too if they want to have a chance here.
10-9-1. Second game point of the of this game here in game two. So we'll go to 10-9-2. Both these sides know how pivotal this game is.
If you've been in this spot before, game point, the 11th point is the hardest point to get oftentimes.
Simone back to Leigh.
That ball struck hard by Leigh Waters down the middle, past the paddles of Kovalova and Jardim. We've got game two in the books, Dave.
And it just did touch the paint. One more look at it. And so the Waters have made this a match. We'll go to a best of three.
Guess what? We going to game three.
Timeout here in Atlanta. How about that second game? Waters hold off Kovalova and Jardim. Team Waters had a 6-1 lead in that second game. Kovalova and Jardim came all the way back to take a 9-8 lead. And then the Waters rallied and were not to be denied. And that changes everything. Instead of being 2-0 in favor of the #1 ranked team in the world, it is 1-1, and it turns into a best of three.
What a thriller that we've been watching. The crowd is happy, the production and the commentators are happy, and we're just looking for more battles and spectacular exchanges to come.
Yeah, and I love the grit and tenacity from the Waters there to close out game two as they gave up a big lead that Dave was talking about. Now we've got smiles on the faces of all four players as they start this best of three. It could be a potential 5-game set, though.
And I mean, we could be looking at a 2-hour match, guys. We're going on 56 minutes since they started.
Well, we got spoiled with the singles. They don't have that extra partner to dig balls out and reset, so.
Yeah, but if you observe the players, their body language, they're showing energy, they're showing determination to compete and battle. So we'll see how they look in maybe another 30 minutes. But right now, they're prepared to go all the way.
What a great point out of the gate here in the third.
1-0-2.
Wow, great defensive shot there by Anna Leigh, but then Leigh unable to continue the trend. So Kovalova and Jardim,
0-1-1.
0-1-1 now. They'll take over the serve.
Second server.
This might be a slight adjustment in the strategy from Lucy and Simone. They will probably look to initiate the attacks this time. My guess is to maybe go head-to-head with Leigh, or maybe go work them through the middle. We'll see.
And Irina, when you know now you're definitively going to be playing 2 more games and possibly 3 more games, does it change your mindset at all in terms of how you expend energy, how you approach a shot? Are you more likely to maybe let a shot go instead of try to track it down, or do you just play the same way you've been playing?
I think not yet in game 3. And this observation is probably more true in singles than in doubles. A good example would be watching some of the tennis players play who are really tall, like Ivo Karlovic or John Isner.
1-1-1.
They definitely let the ball go, but when they know it's an opportunity point, for example, it's like 30-all or 30-15 on the opponent serves, you know these guys are going to be hustling, chasing every ball down.
John Isner, wasn't it? He was one of the ones that played in that unbelievably long match at Wimbledon a couple of years ago, correct?
Yes, and you can see so many times where he just gave up on the ball, and I think that's the smartest thing for him to do depending on the score, and he is very good at executing it.
Sometimes you lose the battle to win the war.
Yes, John Isner also plays pickleball, and a number of tennis players like Sam Querrey, Andre Agassi, Andy Roddick has played pickleball a couple of times.
I would love to see Andre Agassi play pickleball.
Well, to brag just a little bit, I was fortunate one time to be a part of a charity exhibition for Andy Roddick Foundation, and I did get to play with Andy against Andre and Karim Carr. Probably highlight of my life.
That's amazing.
The cool part about that, what she's talking about, is that they interviewed Agassi before, and they said, have you played any pickleball, heard of pickleball? He had not even heard of it. They just gave him a couple brief rundowns of the rules, and he got better from game to game.
Well, Agassi, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to read his biography. I did read it several years ago, so I'm a little foggy on the fine details, but I know that he was not necessarily because of his own desire, because of his father's desire, but he was on a tennis court nonstop, and when he was like 12, he was playing against Jim Brown on the tennis courts out in Las Vegas growing up. That shot is wide.
Yeah, Kovalova really inserting herself here in game 3 as she attacks that ball.
2-2-1.
What's your prediction on the first biography in pickleball? Who's going to write the first autobiography?
I mean, Simone would be a good choice.
I think so. I would agree with you.
Yeah,
and hits the winner right on cue there.
Kyle Yates on the men's side, I think. He's going to beat everybody to the punch. Co-authored by Ryan Cherry.
Kyle's still too young, though. There's so much. I mean, his pickleball career is not young, but his life is young.
Yes. He has the whole world and life ahead of him.
Simone has a little bit more life experience on Kyle.
Point.
So far in game 3, Kovalova and Jardim beating the Waters at their own game. Those battles are going in the favor of Kovalova and Jardim right now.
Yes, Lucy continues to bring amazing energy to the match.
And now it's a 5-2 advantage.
1 minute. The score
And the
is
Waters are going to want to use a timeout here. They look a little bit unraveled here in this third game, trailing 5-2. We'll take a hydration break, courtesy of Jigsaw Health.
Awesome.
Back here in Atlanta, Kovalova and Jardim have jumped out to the early lead here in game 3, 5-2. Dave Benz, along with Scott Golden, Irina Tereshchenko, kind enough to join us again here today. Hannah Johns has been with us all weekend. Happy to have you on board as well as we continue our coverage here on Championship Court.
This could be New America's favorite sports tradition, watching pickleball on Sundays.
5, 2,
Championship
1.
Sunday.
I'm down with that. Kovalova
Second server.
unable to do anything with that shot.
But the change of strategy we've seen for Game 3 for Lucy and Simone is Lucy is stacking on the right side, and the goal is for Lucy to maybe be a little bit more aggressive head-to-head against Leigh. We'll see how it works for them.
And that was long. Nice thought by Leigh, but it's just a little bit deep.
And that was an aggressive offensive lob right there. She took that off the bounce on the short hop and really caught Jardim and Kovalova by surprise.
6-2-2. And Leigh with the winner there.
And a stare down. Love it.
And a little word for her daughter Annalie here.
2-6-1.
Neither side flinching here.
Those resets are unbelievable.
The ATP returns there, but then Simone with the backhand.
There's no defense for that shot by Simone, as you see on this replay.
And yeah, another thing about pickleball and why it's so attractive is it's basically, if it's a high quality match like this one, it's a non-stop high-packed action. Fans are loving it. And in comparison to some other professional sports where there's a little bit of downtime when people are switching between plays and so forth, pickleball is quite different from that.
We'll go to 2-6-2 here.
6-2-1.
Excuse me, the side out. We'll make it 6-2-1.
Interesting here in Game 3, they've put Simone on the right side now, and they're stacking with Kovalova on the left. At least for the time being. That's another good lob.
And
That's
it's another
long.
just long lob. You know, and Irina, you made that point as well about them switching the stacking. Is that more of a field thing? Is it obviously both of these players comfortable on either side?
Well, I think it's just another way to kind of stick with the strategy that they initially had, and Simone had success with it on and off, but toward the end, maybe not as much as they hoped for. So that's another testament to the quality of their team, their ability to play both sides and continue to execute the strategy.
That'll move it to 6-2-2.
But Leigh Waters is not intimidated by that.
Excuse me, 7-2-2 is the count. And that does land just out, so we'll move to 2-7-1.
It's amazing how the games can change each
2-7-1.
time. The Waters winning Game 2 now find themselves down 5 in Game 3.
Second server.
And it's probably purely coincidence, but the team on the near court for our viewers has been the team that has won each game so far.
Yeah, there's a little bit of wind, so that's probably a contributing factor to a certain extent.
So the serve will go back over to Kovalova and Jardim. 7-2-1.
So far, guys, no controversy with line calls with 6 or 8 referees out here on this court right now.
Yes, the crew's been on top of it. I hope they're drinking water as well, because it's warm out there.
If there is anything to that side of the court thing with the winds, if this was to go to a 5th game, Simone and Lucy would start that 5th game where they are now, but they would finish it on the far side of the court.
Well, they either need to get a bigger lead or maybe the conditions will change again by then. We'll see. But usually when you, when weather is a little bit of a factor, that's how you choose sides. You pick the side to start that allows you to start on your favorite, to finish on your favorite side at the very end of the match.
Guys, and I way
2-7-2.
underestimated the number of refs. There's actually 9 I just counted. And 2 ball boys.
Well, the PPA knows how important this event is, clearly. And that's going to be just long. So 3-7-2.
3-7-2. Side out.
Now, Leigh puts it into the net. So Jardim and Kovalova now. Opportunity here to get some separation or perhaps close this thing out.
So one thing I want to
7-3-1.
mention about the referee, I had a chance to interview Don Stanley, the head of the PPA referees, and these are passive line judges. And what that means is they still let the players call. I'm just remembering all this. They let the players call the balls out themselves, and then they'll be there for appeal if there's an issue.
That one doesn't quite get over, so 8-3.
Great defense for Lucy and Simone to get back in the point. They patiently waited on the baseline until they hit the shot that dropped a little bit below the waist of the Waters, and that was their indication to go forward.
Oh, how about that shot by Simone?
She's now had one on the backhand side that didn't even get a paddle on, and now the forehand where she rolled it past both the Waters.
So 9-3-1, 2 points away from taking a 2-1 advantage.
Point.
And that'll take us to game point.
Just as Irina noted earlier, in game 3, their strategies changed. They're trying to bring the pace and the heat to the Waters first before they are getting attacked. So it seems to be working.
We'll see if maybe Annalie and Leigh end up switching here in a little bit to put
There it
Leigh
is.
back in front of Simone.
All right, well, so we're going to go to game 4 with Kovalova and Jardim having the 2-1 edge as you look at the final point of that game.
That was some serious power at the end of this point from Kovalova. The
Power and
two-handed
placement, where she couldn't really do much with it. Game 4 coming your way after this timeout. So advantage Kovalova and Jardim as we head to game number 4 in this best-of-5 women's doubles gold medal match.
The hype man Gizmo Hall throwing shirts out this time instead of water bottles to the crowd. They were loving it.
Well,
Match started 1 hour and 13 minutes ago.
and I know for a fact during their timeout what the Waters did. They just looked at their paddle, looked at each other, and said, let's go again.
And that's going to be
Side out,
long.
Thank you.
So the side out will give the Waters a chance to strike first here.
0-0-1. Point, thank you.
So far, only one of these 3 rounds have gone just 3 games, and that was Ben Johns
1-0-1.
taking down Tyson McGuffin in men's pro singles.
Fans are certainly getting their entertainment worth here if they made the trek out here to Lifetime Fitness in Peachtree Corners.
1-0-2.
And we still have 2 more matches to go here today. The men's doubles and the mixed doubles.
Dave, we're going to see if your insight about the team on the closest side to the camera is winning these matches holds true.
The ATP will not land in bounds.
And Irina, talk about that two-handed backhand roll from
no,
Annalie Waters.
you
That's
need-
one of her
yeah,
best
now you're
weapons
good.
in the
You're
game.
good now.
We
All right,
actually
here we
saw
go.
her in mixed doubles pro with Tyson
waiting.
on the left, which is not the
All right, here we
traditional
go.
style.
2-0-2.
What makes that so dangerous?
I think the beauty of it is her swing is very compact and efficient. It's fairly quick, and she is able to drop the paddle below the ball very effectively to put topspin. But overall, like I said, she could have the same take back, but hit 4 different shots from the same position. That's what makes it so deadly and so effective.
Annalee able to catch up to that. Simone, the nice dig there.
My goodness, look at this point, guys. Simone digging out everything they threw at her.
That was quite a lunge by Simone. Acrobatics.
Nice restraint there by Lucy to let it go.
Side out.
Leigh Waters didn't hit that ball that hard. She just missed.
And Annalee sets it up at the end, moving her dig to the corner to the middle. Basically gives Leigh a put away just a little bit unlucky.
How about that angle right there, guys?
That was perfect precision.
And if you guys notice, Annalee takes like a step back or two to dink, and basically what it does to you geometrically, that means you have to work a little bit harder to come back in position. But if you're young and quick like Annalee and you have good court coverage, you can afford that. If you're a player that maybe doesn't like to move that much or doesn't have the ability to move, you're probably a little bit better off standing closer to the kitchen, taking some of these balls out of the air and maintaining your position.
1-2-2. Kovalova and Jardim trying to tie up this game here on this point. And that goes long, so side out, so that'll make it 2-1-1.
If you guys know, the Waters didn't really play last year, so coming into the PPA race this year, they didn't have any points. They come as kind of the underdog and the dark horse, so to speak, into these brackets because they're not seeded. For example, Jesse Irvin and I had to play in first round in the first 3 PPAs of the year, and that was actually super awesome to battle them. Sometimes, another good thing about pickleball, you get to play the same team twice sometimes in the tournament, and that's kind of exciting as well to me. They had quite a tough draw this event, playing Callie Smith and Catherine Parento for the same exact reason, but the more tournaments they play, the more their points, their ranking points will even out, and probably within 4 or 5 events, depending on their results, we should see a higher seed for the Waters coming into the tournament.
Yeah, the seeding may not have been there, but Irina, I'm sure everybody knows just how dangerous this team is. The secret is not such a secret.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the fact that they had to earn everything back and respect kind of the process and just don't get a seeding based on their previous achievements. I think it's also very important in terms of kind of...
Sorry to cut you off, but that was impressive.
That was impressive.
This is interesting. The Waters are going right at Lucy Kovalova here in game 4.
Your score is 4.
Kovalova's now on the left, so this dynamic has completely changed from game 1, 2, and 3.
And a 5-1 advantage for Team Waters.
Point.
Who knows if it's truly this side that's the winning side, but so far this side has been the more electric side for these teams to win.
And the unforced error there. We move it to the second server. Well, there have been a total of 38 points scored by the team serving on the near side of the court. There have been 19 points scored by the team on the far side of the court, total in this match.
Okay, we're onto something here.
Side out.
Kovalova and Jardim looking to break that trend here and get back into this 4th game. One 5-1. Make it 1-5-2.
What's exciting to me, guys, is
Second
that
server.
if this would have been the traditional 2 out of 3, this
1-5-2.
game would already be over. The champions would have been crowned, but now we have an opportunity for the
Side
team
out.
that was down to make a big run and force a game 5 if the Waters can
Ball's
take
out.
this game
Thank
4
you.
here.
Thank you.
And that would give the Waters a slight edge if it goes to 5.
5-1-1.
She got it.
And Simone finally able to put it away.
Second server.
She said enough's enough.
Great overheads by Simone. Another interesting observation is there are players from other sports that come into pickleball, for example, badminton. And if I ever play against a badminton player, they probably have some of the
5-1-2.
best overheads in the game, just because when you play badminton, you have to hit overheads so often.
Point.
They're so powerful with it. Do not lob a badminton player.
That shot out, make it
6-1-2.
6-1-2.
Side out.
Henry Renardo is one that comes to mind at the pro level, who's out of Orlando. Longtime badminton pro,
1-6-1.
teaches pickleball and badminton. I'm sure he was one that you thought about as well.
Absolutely. I also played against some people in Hong Kong and Asia, and just impressive stuff with the overheads.
Second server.
1-6-2. Waters trying to
1-6-2.
force the side out.
Point.
So they'll make it 2-6-2. I know that there have been some players from ping pong as well that have been able to have
2-6-2.
some success on a pickleball court.
Of course, we have Rob Cassidy, one of the legendary commentators
I
of the
believe
sport.
Dave Weinbach has played some ping pong as well at a pretty good level.
And actually, Tao Tong Vong,
Point.
Yes, he was in the men's final, yeah.
Time
he
out,
just
1
won the
minute.
men's
The
pro
score is
finals as a high-level
3-6-2.
table tennis player as well.
3-6-2, a couple of points here by Kovalova and Jardim forced Waters and Waters to use the timeout. A hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. Back here in Atlanta, Kovalova and Jardim wanting no part of having to go to a game 5. The Waters, meantime, trying to see if they can get the serve back. Irina, do you have any idea what's the longest match you've ever been a part of? We're 1 hour and 23 minutes into this match here.
Well, I think the longest match was Lucy and I playing the Waters 2 years ago in Atlanta. I think it was about 2.5 hours, and it was actually before Jigsaw, so I remember almost cramping in game 4 and having to eat mustard packets and take shots of pickle juice. No fun.
If I remember that correctly, I think it was a ball that hit the net and dribbled over for the game point in the 5th game, correct?
Yes, that's how the match ended. And as I dove for the ball with my side view, I saw Stephen Waters jumping up and yelling,
Point.
and I knew it was over mid-flight.
Point here by Kovalova and Jardim, gets it back to 4-6. That's a great bit. That's a great memory by you, Scott, by the way, to remember that moment.
Those are big moments in
Resume play.
pickleball.
4-6-2.
Annalie Waters unfortunately had to pull out of the next match with a heat stroke.
Because back then they did all of it in one day, and they did the bronze and the gold best of 5, which was quite a bit.
Great defense by Simone, and it results in another point.
Point.
That's just resiliency right there by Simone Jardim. Just keep that ball going over and
5-6-2.
over until the unforced error from Leigh Waters.
Chance for them to tie up this game. Oh, and a winner there by Simone, and we are tied. And now momentum seriously has shifted.
At 6-1, the Waters were
6-6-2.
feeling good. They seemed confident. They now seem like they're a little tighter.
They do not have the cushion of having another game. This is it if they can't win this game here. The winner there, though, Simone couldn't catch up to it, so the Waters will get a chance to go back in front.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but they hit paddles, and I think that actually generated a little bit more of an angle unintentionally.
6-6-1.
We'll never know.
The Waters go back in front.
Lucy apologizing to Simone there as they hit paddles.
7-6-1.
Great patience here by both these sides.
Yes, Leigh playing a little bit further from the kitchen line gives Simone an opportunity to actually push her dinks a little bit further, and I think maybe that one skipped the line. But good observation by Simone and Lucy in utilizing that extra space in front of the Waters.
Fault, the right foot.
Wow, they're going to call the fault here on Simone.
I believe that's the first foot fault that we've seen today in the 3.
No, we did have one earlier, I believe, in the first match
It was
of the day.
the Ernie from Tyson McGuffin, that's correct. Thanks, Dave.
That's why this is the Pro Tour. This is not an amateur hour.
Simone hits it long. The Waters open up an 8-6 lead.
9-6-2.
Excuse me, 9-6-2 now.
As they've increased their lead to 3, you can see them loosening up now. They're playing a little more fluid.
Yeah, they've rolled off 3 straight points after it was tied at 6. And they call that out. Simone looking for an appeal, and the line judge says indeed it was out.
Yeah, that ball clearly long. Great discipline by the Waters to let that ball go, as it wasn't that high.
So a hydration break being called here by Kovalova and Jardim as we have reached game point and game number 4 here in Atlanta. Back here in Atlanta, 10-6, the Waters a point away from pushing this to a 5th game. You gotta credit the resiliency out of this mother-daughter team. Simone and Lucy, meantime, they are 1 break away from getting the serve back, and we know they're certainly capable of going on a run here.
I'm really enjoying the energy from both sides in this 5-setter, potential 5-setter.
Who's going to flinch first here? Simone going for the Ernie. Lucy able to back it up, though, and then off the net, Simone able to recover.
It actually worked out well. She was on the side of the court when that ball dribbled over.
Great job in making decisions in a split second and holding her balance at the same time.
Very impressive.
Lengthy point going on here.
Irina, there's a lot going on during those dinks, isn't there? Talk a little bit about the nuances of what they do in those dink rallies.
Well, I think the Waters are trying to keep it a little bit to Simone, occasionally shifting her to the center, maybe giving Lucy a shot or 2, but then hoping for something a little bit higher, or higher bounce or a higher dink, so they can initiate attack down the line.
6-10-2.
Simone is doing a great job mixing it up and showing some early looks, so puts a little bit pressure on Leigh to mix up the direction of her dings.
And there it is, going back over on the side out to the waters.
So we've seen several types of lobs. That one right there, that lob was really well placed. Lucy Kovalova not able to do a whole lot with that, and it hammered home by Leigh.
Yeah, textbook lob. Leigh takes it out of the air, which gives the opposing team a little bit less time to react.
And game point, and game.
Wow, the 14-year-old Leigh Waters with a lot of emotion right there as they win that
Winner take all, game 5.
One more look at the game point. So we'll go to a 5th game here to decide gold. We'll take a timeout. Back with the decisive 5th after this. Back here in Atlanta, Leigh Waters on the left, Leigh Waters on the right. Going to a game 5. So 44 points have been scored by the team in the near court. 24 points have been scored by the team in the far court. And again, Kovalova and Jardim, they will start in the near court, but on the side switch, they will have to go to the far court. So I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but it's certainly worth pointing out.
Strategery.
Gotta love strategery.
I'm going to predict extra pickleball in this game 5 deciding match. In between game 4 and game 5, I glanced over and I saw Tony Giannone and Matt Wright in the corner of Lucy Kovalova and Simone Jardim, just giving them a little bit of encouragement, some tips, and maybe some strategy. The Waters just sitting over there cooling down.
Also, I'm not sure if the viewers can see, there are also quite a big number of pro players still in the house. They're chilling in the shade, watching the match. Not just the players who are still featured in the finals today, but other players in the tournament. And I'm sure they would have plenty of strategy to offer as well.
Jardim and Kovalova get the Waters back on the baseline. They're able to get back up to the kitchen. What a point. We've had some amazing rallies in this match. Kovalova finally able to put it away with the backhand.
That backhand from Lucy Kovalova should have to be licensed because that is a rocket right there.
I think she learned it at the Jigsaw offices, really. That's where it came from, just by knocking stuff down there.
Second server.
So we'll go to 1-0-2.
Nice job for the Waters, bringing the ball down a little softer, but finding that space in front of Simone once again.
Side out.
Lucy taking an extra step after she missed that, recognizing she didn't move her feet there. She just leaned out.
0-1-1.
We are definitely not going to see players saving
Second
energy
server.
at this point. They're
No.
going all out, bringing the heat.
Well, this is it. I mean, you
0-1-2.
win this game, you go home with gold. You lose this game, you're settling for silver.
And if you aim first, you last.
That's exactly true.
Side out.
Trying to think of that name of that movie.
Scott?
The Will Ferrell movie. The Legend of Bobby, what was his name?
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, guys, y'all are asking the wrong guy. I'm terrible with movie names.
Oh, Ricky Bobby, The Legend of Ricky Bobby.
The Legend of Ricky Bobby.
Right here.
Maybe.
Okay, the call was out. What was the call? He was blocked by rule. Anybody else see it clearly? Clearly. All right, by rule, the ball's out.
So what's going on here is I was talking about the passive referees as line judges. What that means is the players make the call initially. If there's an appeal, they appeal to the main referee, and the referee will ask these other referees, and if they don't see it clearly, they'll give the signal.
So 2-0-1. 2-0-2.
Two, 0-2.
Three 0-2.
Wow, Lucy coming in earlier in that point to help out Simone and poaches an attack from Leigh Waters.
And now they're going to give the serve back. So 0-3-1.
Might see another switch, Simone and Lucy. The Waters stay consistent, and Leigh on the left.
Well deep.
Another opportunity when the receiving team is stacking is to try to serve a little bigger, serve in the corner, take the third shot early, and try to go to open court and see if you can take advantage of the extra space the receiver has to cover. But again, all these ladies are super fast, incredible athletes. They can hit a high quality return that will minimize the angle exposure, and chances of them getting to the kitchen in time are pretty high.
Point.
But Leigh does score a point here doing just that.
2-3-2.
And they get it back within one at 2-3-2. Make it 3-3-2.
As the crowd really getting behind the Waters here as they've now tied it up.
3-3-2.
Simone going back to Leigh. Saw this earlier in this match, them just going back and forth. Oh, the flick of the wrist by Leigh Waters to give Team Waters the lead.
Timeout, 1 minute.
And a timeout being taken by Kovalova and Jardim. A 4-3 advantage for Team Waters. We'll take this hydration break courtesy of Jigsaw Health. Back here in Atlanta, 4-3, the advantage for the Waters. They can get 2 more points. They'll get the side switch and have the lead.
And according to the current theory and the data, they will end up switching to a better side.
Yes, that is what the analytics are saying right now.
Yes, it's a pretty sophisticated operation.
Yes, it's very sophisticated.
No, their score is 5.
We're being told by the Chuck that Catherine Parento, she won 2 of her 3 games on that first side. 2 of the 3 games that she won.
It's 5-3-2.
We've got a little controversy.
No, they just won 4-3.
It was 3-3, and then they got 4-3, and I called timeout.
And Leigh, no, it was 4-3.
And you can see
4-3-1. It's 5-3. It's 5-3. It is.
You can see that there's some disparity here over the scoring.
Well, we had 3-3 on our scoreboard, but we're not the official scoreboard.
We are not.
No. Simone Jardim looks pretty adamant that it was 3-3, and she called the timeout at 4-3. The referee, Matthew Cross, and Tom Whitson both agreeing that it's 5-3 now coming out of the timeout.
And for what it's worth, there is no official replay rules in pickleball, so I mean, I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could ask to check the video.
5-3-2.
And I think that could be maybe a good feature to add, especially for situations like
We're
this.
going to get this right. Hang on.
Our truck is saying 4-3, and they're feeling pretty confident about it being 4-3. But we again are not official.
No, but our scorekeepers are keeping a pretty close eye on the score. And when you went to the timeout, you said 4-3.
And now they're coming up to ask. Thomas Whitson coming over. Our truck has it at 4-3. That's what we had it at. We had it at 4-3-2.
Check we're not the official ruling, but check you're the official. We don't want to make the call for you.
And they are coming over here right now. Thomas Whitson, the head official, coming over to ask us.
Because they would know if it's 4.
But we'll see what they decide. Again, we did have it at 3-3 when they went to the timeout.
Tom Whitson has on his scoreboard 5-3, but they are human as well, and they are prone to sometimes making mistakes in big games like this. It's easy to get mixed up on the score. They're going to stick to 5-3. Tom Whitson making the final call there.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of people at home right now watching the live stream that are chiming in and letting us know what they have it at. They've been watching it as well. But none of that matters. It only matters what Tom Whitson says. Nice dig there by Simone to keep it alive.
Oh, that's a mishap right there that you don't want to see.
We got 1 minute. Change ends, please.
So now we've got the side switch, and there's no question it was 4-3 when we went, because I said 2 more points would bring the side switch with a 6-3 lead. But now they do have the 6-3 lead. And we're told that they checked the tape. It was 3-3, but they're going to have the side switch now. And I don't really know what the right protocols here are. I mean, we checked the tape. It should be 5-3, but
at this point, it doesn't seem feasible to go backwards after they played that next point.
It does not.
So I want to ask Irina's opinion on this. As a high-level pro player, when there are distractions like this in your gold medal match, how do you overcome that if you're Lucy and Simone? How do you get your mind back right, knowing that you were correct on the score and got essentially screwed on the scoreboard?
Well, as you correctly point out, there's nothing else they can do about it right now. So moving on is probably the best thing they do, maybe taking a little bit of extra time to kind of recoup and make sure they're over it and they can just deal with it later. And right now it's time to compete again.
6-3-2.
So 6-3-2, and now they move to the more favorable side, by the way. So Kovalova and Jardim with their backs clearly against the wall here. They led 1 game to none, 2 games to 1.
Side out.
And they forced the side out. Well, you never know, too. That might be something that could rally them as well.
3-6-1.
Absolutely.
In my experience in sports, you oftentimes see that get them fired up and they could go on a tear.
And they get a point here, so they close it to 4-6.
Nice flick by Lucy, using her length again with a backhand in the middle that sets up this point.
Simone able to get up to the kitchen. The lob, Simone able to return, lets it go.
Good lead.
So make it 5-6-1.
I do like the lob there, but after she got attacked, she tried to respond with an aggressive shot there at sailing long.
Second server.
Great placement by Leigh. Again, nothing too powerful. Away from the
5-6-2.
lines puts Lucy in a tough spot at her shoelaces.
Oh, great job by Simone to show the restraint to let it go.
Well, and actually, Leigh Waters tried to tell her mom to let that ball go, and Leigh was already swinging.
1 minute.
So 3 straight points by Kovalova and Jardim with their backs against the wall. We're knotted at 6. We'll take a hydration break, courtesy of Jigsaw.
It doesn't matter anymore. 6-6.
Back here in Atlanta, despite the scoring discrepancy, Kovalova and Jardim have rallied to tie it at 6.
The game could not get closer than this. It's bottom of the 9th, and we still don't know who's going to win the game.
I anticipate this game going back and forth.
We know the record probably for the longest match, but also this could be potentially a new record set for the highest score in the match. Maybe it's like 21-19.
We're at 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Ooh, we're getting up there.
There's a lot of game left here.
6-6-1.
The winner by Jardim. They take a 7-6 lead. 7-6-2.
Ball in the corner. Throw it back. Throw it back. Throw it back, please.
Meanwhile, Jay and Pat are probably warming up for the 10th time today, but that's part of the game.
7-6-2.
I don't think being warm is going to be a problem. It is gotten to be sticky here in Georgia. Oh, great job to catch up to that by Leigh Waters. Oh, Simone trying to go for a winner, hits it into the net, so Team Waters will get the serve back.
She rarely misses those.
Yes, Simone was patiently working the point. It probably took her 7 or 8 dinks to actually set up the right shot, and unlucky miss right there. Back to work.
She puts it away though, so it'll move to 6-7-2.
In the past, this was where we've seen Simone Jardim take over games and close them out.
6-7-2.
And guys, none of us here have a rooting interest in this. Both these sides clearly worthy of winning, but you hate to see potentially this game get decided by that scoring error.
Call was out. Relax.
They're calling it out.
Call was out.
They're gonna
Ball was
appeal.
out. Did you see it? The ball was out.
And the line judge confirms
Side
it is
out.
out. So side out serve going back over to Kovalova and Jardim.
Thank you.
So the question
We're
in my mind
moving
is,
on. Here we
if there's
go.
no line judges,
You have
they call that
6.
out, there's no argument.
Right.
Now they appeal to that ref, that referee agrees,
here we go.
so then there should be
7-6-1.
no argument at all.
By the way, since we have so many line judges here, let me suggest this. I know that it is traditionally the head referee's job to maintain the score, but perhaps the PPA should have a secondary person tracking the score as well. How about the put away there by Leigh Waters?
Well, another potential rule pickleball could consider, if a player gets overruled 3 times, they lose a point. They have that rule in college tennis. Obviously, this hasn't been a factor in this match, but there are athletes who have an interesting reputation, so that could maybe contribute to the integrity of the game a little bit more. We're almost there.
Simone sitting on that attack off the bounce from Leigh Waters.
Gets it to 8-6-2.
Correct server, Lucy, you have 8. You're good. All right, here we go. 8-6-2.
Really working the point. See who tries to speed up first.
Oh, it just does get over. And off the net and in.
That's the second net cord that stayed in for Simone Jardim on her forehand rip.
9-6-2.
So 9-6-2. Team Waters will use the timeout. Another look at it. A fortunate bounce for Simone. We'll take a hydration break, courtesy of Jigsaw Health.
No, I'm saying right now.
Don Stanley coming over to talk to us about the officials saying, confirming they don't have a second ref to keep the score. None of us really believed that to be the case. We were just suggesting that it might be something they might want to consider going forward.
I don't think you could ever go wrong having a backup plan in place just for
especially for
situations.
scoring. That is pretty much the most important part of the entire game. I mean, you've got multiple officials watching for the lines, and that's certainly important, but getting the score right, there's nothing more important than that.
Couldn't agree more, and especially in a game 5 here in the women's pro gold.
So Team Waters able to use the timeout to their benefit. They'll get the serve back, trailing 6-9-1.
6-9-1.
This is a crucial series for the Waters.
Simone able to keep Leigh back, at least temporarily. Been a tremendous effort by both these sides all afternoon, but the unforced error there will move it to 6-9-2.
Simone Jardim is incredible with her
6-9-2.
discipline. She had a ball above the net, probably 2 balls up, and she chose not to attack it.
And threw Leigh off just a little bit. Change up, as they call it in baseball. Simone is looking to bring some variety. Ooh, pays off again.
Yep.
I really believe that Simone's dictating the points right now. She's keeping that ball soft and unattackable. It's getting the Waters a little bit out of rhythm and out of their game. Kudos to Jardim and Kovalova.
9-6-1.
Yeah, her competitive instincts are very good, and she's recognizing the opportunity to step it up right now and create a little bit more.
And here we go, championship point, 10-6-1.
The Waters find themselves in a 4-point hole here. Game point and match point.
As we close in on 2 hours for this match. 1 hour and 59 minutes since they started. And there it is, the 5-set marathon, and the gold medal goes to the #1 ranked team in the world, but man, did they have to work for it. 11-6, 9-11, 11-3, 6-11, 11-6. A 5-set thriller.
Obviously, the Waters are disappointed they didn't come out with the gold, but they need to keep their heads held high as they battled each and every game there, sending the champions to 5 games.
Absolutely, what a thriller. Thanks for staying with us. Hopefully great more matches yet to come, and I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
It sounds like a plan as you see the victorious side of Kovalova and Jardim. We will hear from the winners in just a moment. Stay with us here on Championship Court.
Guys, welcome back. We're here with our champions, Simone Jardim and Lucy Kovalova. Ladies, that was such a great match. You were down 3-6 in that final game. You came back. Waters did not win another point. How did you do it?
Just having a tough cookie next to you helps. I mean, she just was there for me all match long. 5 games is pretty brutal for anybody, but next to her is, you know, it's worth it.
Talk about how important the partnership is between you two ladies, both not from the U.S., but you're able to come together and have this amazing game style on court.
Well, of course, it's very important, and we know we're there for each other. So if I need to be picked up, she's there for me, and if she needs to be picked up, I'm there for her. So, and I think especially in this match, I think you saw how much we both wanted to win, and I was like, we need to just keep our energy up, keep cheering for each other, and it was like, whatever it takes, we're here to win, and that's it.
Absolutely, and what are your plans after this match to celebrate this victory?
We have to play each other now. So I think it's changing since I think I took a bath on the court. She looks, it's water. Mine is a mixture, but yeah, we'll change and then we'll go against each other once these guys are done. So yeah, not much time.
All right, ladies, rest up and get ready for that next one. Congratulations again. We're going to take a quick break.